El Salvador is the smallest and most densely populated country in Central America. As of July 2016, El Salvador's population was at about 6.2 million. The current population structure puts El Salvador at stage 3 development, as they have a wide bottom-shaped population pyramid trend. As of early 2016, it was recorded majority of the population is under the age of 54. About 26.58% of the population are of 0 to 14 years of age, with approximately 839,000 males and 797,000 females. About 20.1% of El Salvador's population is 15 to 24 years of age, with about 635,000 males and 628,000 females. The largest portion of El Salvador's population falls into the 25 to 54 age category, with about 1.1 million males and about 1.3 million females. The remaining population of 55 and above number at about 876,000, with 388,000 males and 488,000 females. Currently, El Salvador is challenged by gender inequalities, although some improvements have been seen in the past 20 years. Our organization is the Female Empowerment and Microfinance Organization, also known as FEMO. FEMO aims to change the social situation regarding women in El Salvador. Women in El Salvador are being discouraged from going to school or working jobs. Instead, many women are being forced to perform housework and care for children instead of being given the freedom to choose what they want to do with their lives. This has created an economic dependence on men. Due to the gracious $1 billion funds from the Luna Foundation, we'll be allocating it towards our project components, which primarily consist of small microfinance loans and empowerment workshops for women. FEMO strives to change as many women's lives in El Salvador as economically and reasonably possible for a better future for them. Our first project components are the empowerment workshops. Due to the fact that the civil war in El Salvador had such a powerful but detrimental impact on El Salvador's population, both economically and socially, FEMO aims on focusing their financial resources on the female population of El Salvador. According to the United Nations report on gender equality, the best time to implement gender equality programs in a country is in post-crisis or crisis situations. Post-crisis El Salvador finds itself with the employment gap between women and men at 37% in 1991, which has fallen to 27% in recent years. Women are surpassing men in educational attendance, which is a sign of progress that FEMO believes needs to be maintained and encouraged. One way to facilitate closing the employment gap is to focus on the United Nations Millennium Development Goals, specifically to promote gender equality and empower women. Enabling women to have equal opportunity and assert themselves will fuel El Salvador's economy, lower fertility rates, address gender norms and sexism, and close the employment gap. We plan on establishing the workshops in San Salvador due to its dense population and employment opportunities. In addition, FEMO plans on providing buses for women who live in the neighboring towns, including Santa Tecla, San Marcos, and Mexicanos, to facilitate their access to the empowerment workshops. FEMO's development proposal plans to utilize the budget to invest in training development of gender specialists with a microfinance emphasis. These trained people will be directing the workshops. These workshops will be an open space for women to ask questions or just listen and educate themselves on the different subjects such as saving, community strength building, gender equality, contraceptive, and disease safety. Many of these women have a basis of primary education or are currently enrolled in school, and enlisting them in programs that encourage them to stay in school and save money are extremely beneficial to them in their futures. By creating female empowerment workshops, it can give women in El Salvador a better perspective of their social situation and give them encouragement to pursue a different course in life. When women are empowered, they are more likely to become independent, and one way this can be done is through education. The creation of empowerment workshops can help boost not only women's own social statuses, but also stimulate El Salvador's economy. Our next project component is family planning. Over the past few decades, El Salvador has made remarkable strides in terms of family planning. In 1993, only 53% of the population utilized contraceptives, and by 2003, 67% of the population was using them. While this number continues to increase, the equity gap between poor and wealthy people using contraceptives has decreased from a 40% gap in 1993 to a 20% gap one decade later in 2003. These improvements have come for various reasons, including increased recognition of family planning has an important role in ensuring healthy families, increased political support for women's rights, establishment of more health facilities in rural areas, and technological and financial support from USAID and UNFPA. While El Salvador has made remarkable strides in terms of contraceptive use over the past few decades, there's still room for improvement. While contraceptive use is increasing, the most common form of contraception is female sterilization. While condom use, oral, injectable, and intrauterine contraceptive device use remains low. Abortion remains illegal in El Salvador, which creates many challenges, especially for young and impoverished women living in rural areas where there is limited access to health facilities. This proposal aims to strengthen the family planning system in El Salvador by encouraging the use of condoms and oral, injectable, and intrauterine contraceptive devices, educating the population on sexually transmitted diseases, and eliminating El Salvador's abstinence-only Zika prevention strategy. We plan to distribute condoms and oral contraceptives in rural areas and at the empowerment workshops where El Salvadorians can learn more about sexually transmitted diseases, Zika, and family planning. We also plan to take a different approach to the Zika virus than the El Salvadorian government. We aim to empower at-risk populations with information about the disease, how it is spread, and the risks involved with contracting disease.
Our final project component is microfinance for women. We are making strides to not only empower women, but it will also contribute financially with the microfinance programs that emphasize saving and community development. The long-term goal is to be able to support women in El Salvador in every aspect of their lives. Addressing the problem of female financial literacy, wherein women don't know how to manage money, is part of FEMA's microfinance initiative that will provide women with the financial tools they need to be able to empower their communities. FEMA will focus on is the integrated community development approach, where empowerment is defined as community, self-reliance, and decreased vulnerability. Avoiding domestic and community conflict is the goal, and women's empowerment should be achieved by community mobilization. Not only will microfinance challenge social and economic conditions in El Salvador, but also create a culture of support and financial knowledge in the small towns. The microfinance training will take place in the same location as the empowerment workshops, but it will be a completely separate set of training, as women are encouraged to come with their friends, daughters, and children. The idea for community support and building is that these women will create small groups comparative to their location. The empowerment workshops will have classes that focus on saving, community support, and small-scale finance. Teaching these women how to think entrepreneurially and introducing methods of economic empowerment will increase employment opportunities for women, thus addressing the issue of poverty and low female employment. The biggest risk that is always present in a microfinance project is the ability of women to actually follow through with the plans to save and repay the community loans. Due to this, we find it very important to inspire and empower the women before giving them access to loans and beginning the saving process. Monitoring women's constant progress through checks and feedback reports is crucial to a successful microfinance initiative. Keeping track of progress and how it is altering the initial diagnostic survey, we will be able to tailor to these women's needs. Our financial breakdown is as follows. For family planning, we plan on bringing cheap and accessible birth control. Since 60% of their population is of age to reproduce, that means there are 1.9 million males and females ready to reproduce in El Salvador. And if the average person uses a condom 10 times a month, it means we need around 228 million condoms that would cost around $35 million. Birth control and other oral contraceptives are expected to cost at $85 million, and we'll be spending another $1 million on informative pamphlets, bringing us to a total of $120 million for family planning. For the empowerment workshops, we'll be spending money on transportation, so we decided on buying 5 buses and employing these bus drivers on a salary, which will end up costing us $70 million. For our empowerment center, we'll need around 1,500 square feet in order to create a building that can hold around 1,000 people, so we would spend around $7 million per seminar room and build 50 seminar facilities throughout the country. This would bring the facilities cost to around $350 million, and we will also hire 500 employees for the microfinance program, which will cost around $25 million. This will put us at $610 million, and we would dedicate the last $390 million to finance to women in the form of small loans.
Mi país, cruzando las 3 fronteras para poder llegar aquí. El amor y el dolor está siempre en mi país, cruzando las 3 fronteras para poder llegar aquí.